It is 11:30 p.m. on Sunday, March the 31st, 2024, and I am finally wrapping up from our Easter gathering, which is a carryover tradition from my mother-in-law, who used to have Easter egg hunts for the kids and then have dinner. So we have continued to have dinner on that day for that reason, and it was wonderful because my daughters both are in relationships with people who I believe are their person. And it was really nice to have all four of them here, and of course LJ here, and just being able to have dinner and to enjoy an evening together, playing Uno and Uno Mercy. But I wanted to make a video because I haven't all day today because I've been enjoying my family on messy parenting. And I see, the kids use the word messy to describe people with complicated relationships or lives that are filled with, a lot of um, questionable behaviors and decisions and relationships and partnerships and collaborations and so forth. But for me, messy parenting is about allowing your children to experience the world. And in this particular picture, this is Amaya, and she is in our playroom. When they were little, I had a friend of mine who named Donna Staley Berry, and I was just adjusting to having twins was not easy because they were not on the same sleep schedule. But she came over one day, and she said, "Why don't you turn your living room into a playroom? Because you don't use that room anyway." And to me, I was just like, "What?" And it just took someone to sort of plant the seed, and I was like, "Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me." Now, it also meant that when people came into our home, the very first thing they saw was a tore up playroom, because I let my kids play freely. But that was what was necessary. One, for me to even get some rest, because I had a gate up, and I would let them play inside the gate, and I would just lay on the floor and like try to nap whenever I could. But also just gave them some freedom to roam. And the same is true with eating. They when I would give them their food, I would put the food on the tray and let them feed themselves until they were ready to use utensils, and then I would start giving them utensils. But not only did that help with just their ability to feel some sense of autonomy or independence, it also exposed them to different textures and different tastes and things like that. And as they grow, you cook together, and it can be messy. Sometimes people don't like being messy, but you're cook. As I was preparing a meal today, they decided they wanted to make bread using their grandmother's recipe. And so the five of them worked together to make the bread, and it actually turned out perfect. We were all really surprised at how much it tasted like their grandmother's recipe. But they had to get their hands in the dough, and they had to do all the mixing, and it was kind of messy, but it didn't bother me because they were learning how to do it. And that has always been the case. I remember once talking to a parent about a child who wasn't able to use a pair of scissors because we do crafts. And I said, has she ever had, any scissors? Has she ever used scissors before? And she said, "No, I don't think so." And her hands could not develop the dexterity to be able to hold the scissors properly so that they cut what it is she needed to cut if she never had an opportunity to do so. So parents who are, live in homes that they try to keep sterile, at a museum level of order and neatness when they have young children, really do a disservice to themselves and their children. It is a beautiful thing to see your child explore and just feeling through the texture for the first time, and learning how to break things apart, and things like that. And it's important for them and their learning. And the same is true with cooking. Not really being worried about everything being perfect, but just giving them an opportunity to get their hands in it. There are lots of recipes where you have to knead things or mix things, and let them do that part for you so that they have that opportunity to experience different textures and so on and so forth. Our kids cannot learn if we do not give them the opportunity. So I want you to think about that in a grand scale, through through their lifetime as parents, because you will always be their parents, you will always be wiser, and you will always be more mature because you're a step ahead of them in the life cycle. And so sometimes things get messy, but it's important that we allow them the opportunity to have experiences that we can then help them to cultivate into something that's useful for them and for the family and greater community. I hope you all enjoyed your Sunday today, and for those of you who celebrate Easter, that you've had a lovely Easter with your families.